Oh, man. Oh, man. Cock-a-doodle-doo, you mofo. Oh, man. All right.
Let's start with your
What a day, man. What a day. Oh, this guy said a perfect pick with the bus. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfection. Oh, that is perfection. Right there. All right. What's going on, Nick? How you doing? Yeah, it looks like I'm kind of underneath this till I get this thing straightened out. Welcome into you. Very comfortable, very pleasant day today. It's a joyful day. Tomorrow is getaway day for me to the East Coast. So I'm going to be not terribly long tonight. Long enough to have a beer and a shot. Start with a coffee. There's no point in going shopping because I'm going to be away until next Thursday. So we'll worry about that next Thursday. Woo, don't pull out on me. My, oh my, what a beautiful day. This is my beautiful Sunday. This is my beautiful day. Oh boy. What a busy day today. My mailbox is overflowing this afternoon. Couple interesting things tonight. One has to do with a local company that we have visited quite a few times in the course of our walking and travels, and now they seem to be in a lot of trouble with the law. That guy's got a date tree. We're gonna hope this thing works okay today. We've had some glitchy YouTube-ness. I guess it was especially Wednesday. I just threw in the towel. I said, to hell with that. Here we go. All right, are we backing out or what are we doing? We got the backup lights on. What are we doing? We don't know. We don't know what we're doing. Once again, the early bird gets dewormed. Very interesting news day today, here locally too. it looks like repo time around here. I'll tell you what, it looks absolutely like repo time. Let's see, we got Ronnie here, Marjorie. Nice to see you. We got the doctor in the house. Nick, Daniel, how are you? Nice to see you. There's a lot going on in our local community today. I wish it was good news, but man, all these trucks are so damn long. You can't even get the hell out of here. Good to see everybody. It's not going to be a real long one today. Hi, you'll be a long time no see because I'm getting away early tomorrow. I'm being picked up at 4:30 a.m. I got to go to the airport shuttle bus location pickup and then take the bus down to the airport and then we're off and flying. I downloaded a couple movies on my phone. I'm not gonna spend money on their crappy Wi-Fi and all that. I've seen people try to live stream from the air. Yeah, it's Elon Musk and Starlink are laughing all the way to the bank. I can guarantee you that. What a beautiful day. Why, oh my. This is my beautiful Friday. Man, that dog was so small you could hardly see it. Wow. That dog was like a quarter of the size of one of the cats around. Oh boy. Have you watched Scars? No, I haven't. Hey, who's that? Gambler, what's going on, man? I was thinking about you the other day with all the crap going on in Vegas. I got an alert today that half of the rentals in all of Las Vegas are either offering reduced rent or reduced rental deals, like sign up and get 1 month free or something like that. Kind of interesting. And then of course Caesars has put itself up and said that it's on the market. I don't know if anybody will nibble. I don't know, Gambler. They got they owe a lot of money. And it's a hard time to make money down there right now. It's a difficult time to make the money. So please hit the thumbs up as we get underway. I'm not surprised that market is softening because a lot of this artificial intelligence and agentic AI has its eye on a lot of the functions that are done down there. Oh, that coffee's good today. Yeah, they outpriced themselves. There was too much debt taken on. My big thing that I've always said, Gambler, is you look at what Las Vegas was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, into the 80s. Man, everything was built for just the average person. I mean, if you wanted a little bit more luxury accommodations, Caesars could set you up with with a nice setup. They can give you a nice room, meal vouchers, all kinds of stuff. And now you look at what they built, everything from the 2000s onward was all geared for people that have money. All geared for people that have money. That's a far different cry. And now the people with the money are being eviscerated. They're being butt slammed here. What a beautiful day. What's up, Brad? Somebody is in my parking spot. So there's that old saying, you made your bed, now you lie in it. That's kind of the message I'm getting right now. This is my beautiful Sunday. It looks like a lot of the shit that I've been talking about for the last 2 weeks is really starting to come home to roost now. This should be all right, huh? This always makes it look like been a mini game. Yeah. I don't know, Brad. It's nice to see you. Yeah, we're all right. All right, let me put the windows down. It's such a nice day. It's overcast now, but it's nice. It has been a minute. Flip that baby around. How you doing, Elmer? Good to see you. Anyway, it was a very exciting day in local news here today. I'll be tearing it out in a little bit, but I got a lot of I'm trying to kind of wind down. I've done a lot of video editing, and I have a lot of videos that have been uploaded and are ready to roll while I'm winging my way east. And when I'm away, I'll try to do some lives and some other stuff. But I had a lot of content that hasn't been put up yet, and some of it is some of the best content I put up in probably a couple years, in the way of metal detecting and all that. So I got that coming up. It's always good to feed the machine. And then we have the agenda for when I get back here to town. We've got to hit it hard. We've got like Thursday I get back, Friday, and then Wednesday I have a doctor appointment. I probably have a allergy shot in there too. And then depending, after Thursday, might be taking off and heading down to Vegas. I got some painting work to do down there. So between the time I'm back home, and between the time I take off for Vegas. I've got a lot to do, and of course it's going to be good content in Vegas too. I'm asking people if there's a place that you want me to review that's reasonable, that you've heard about. A lot of people really love the food reviews. I know I kind of trashed the Peppermill last time, but it was richly deserved. Trust and believe. I'm not a person to just go out and actually Mr. Z and I are usually we're usually pretty generous in our ratings, particularly when it comes to staff, because they don't really have a lot of control over pricing and stuff. So if you have anything, my own thought is that you're going to see a reversal of what's happened for the last 30 years and 25 years in Vegas. You're going to slowly see, like, I don't know if anybody's going to take over Caesar's operations, because when they take that over, they also have to take responsibility for that big, huge 13-14 billion dollars of debt that they owe. And it's, if you take that over, it's not like you're getting a clean and green operation. What's that place that is really famous with the huge lobster tails? I'm not sure, honey. I don't think I've ever had lobster in Vegas. Usually I consider that like way out of my budget. The last time I splurged a little bit, I think Thanksgiving, I was down there with my daughter, and we did the Wynn brunch buffet, which was very nice. And they had some crab, like they call them Jonah crabs or something like that. I can't imagine what a first-rate steakhouse charges now. I mean, I got no idea. Oh shit! Yeah, okay, yeah. The apple fell far from the tree. You're too sweet. Yeah, thank you. She's always lurking out there and watching. But I think they're going to start to reverse some of that stuff. Hey, Buttercup. How did we get into this mess? Well, what's the first thing they could do? They could tell you that put the regular bottled water back in the rooms, and tell you it's now part of your hotel stay, that you have 2 or 3 bottles of whatever, distilled water or whatever there, instead of a $15 bottle of Fiji water. They can redo the parking so it's free. Even the damn fashion mall. You know, I did the video of shoe shopping down at the Las Vegas outlets. Even they were charging, which was really surprising to me, because if I'm going to shop at your place, I ought to have to pay to park there. Now all of a sudden, casinos and outlet center in Vegas, they suddenly started to see their parking garage as a profit center instead of a service center. You would have done better to just Uber down and then Uber back. So I think they'll be gradually doing that stuff. But I think, oh no, dun 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 doo 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 dun 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 dun. This is the great white shark. Dun 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 doo doo. Hey, boy blue. Of course, the business model will fail. for one very important reason. The amount of debt can't be wished away. But they will try to. How you doing? How you doing? Who's that? PT. They will try. They will start to turn against their neighbors in an attempt to fill up their properties and keep it going. Now, I don't know if you noticed recently that a lot of people involved in software are losing their job. Jack Dorsey's operation just cut half their people. And this is a guy that made a fortune on PayPal or eBay, one of the founders of that, or something like that. Head counts are being reduced dramatically. And these are the jobs that really fed Vegas, up and down the California coast, from LA to San Jose, Mountain View, Santa Clara, Silicon Valley, and all up to San Francisco and Oakland. And I don't know about you guys. You know, I haven't had that many different jobs, but I've never been laid off and I've never been fired from a job. But I would think if you work for a company, you can sometimes see the writing on the wall. And when you see what's happening around the other companies, boom, 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 boom. My opinion is that you're not apt to be in a party mood. To feel like going to Vegas and dropping, you know, $500 a night to stay at the Wynn, and then go poolside to the Wynn pool club there and have your concert by Marshmello, the Marshmello Head, the DJ. In other words, the mood is sour. I guess that's what I'm trying to say is I'm very sensitive to mood shifts, and I'm very sensitive to things that happen in a somewhat subtle way within society. What's up, Flawless? How you doing? Nice to see you, my friend. I'm very sensitive to that. I'm waiting for severance. Might not happen. Severance from what? Yeah, I've had a good day today. I was just getting a lot of videos edited for when I'm traveling. I'm going to the East Coast for a few days. But can you kind of sense that the mood, it's like they turned down the brightness a little bit. It's like you could almost see that storm cloud on the horizon there. Is that the kind of freewheeling? Yeah, thank you. Is that the kind of freewheeling mentality that makes you want to go out and drop a bundle in Vegas? Probably not. Probably not. Because I can tell you another one thing those casinos are doing, they have so many people on payroll that they're looking for everything that can get to help people out the door. Whatever they can put in, electronic gaming, reduced AI check-in at the front. I mean, I've checked all the way through tomorrow. United Airlines, all I basically have to do is walk the bag up to the United. It's already paid for. I've already got my boarding pass, got my seat. And I didn't have to interact with anybody to accomplish that. All I got, it can go through the TSA pre-approved checkpoint. I know TSA, a lot of those people are still working through all this BS. It is flawless, and I'm telling you, there's a real sea change coming that I've felt compelled to make people really aware of the last 2 weeks. I can see it. And you got people living their lives as if it's going to be the same next year as it is now. Well, the economy is pretty good in certain measures, but it's not good across the board. It's good if you're a corporation because you reap the benefit of the expectations of AI to improve your profitability has driven stocks through the roof. So people like you, Buttercup Baby, that have an extensive portfolio have greatly benefited by the expectation of how AI is going to enhance corporate profit through cost reductions. But the problem is there's another side of the equation. And that's the side that's now being seen now. That's the demand side. When all of these 150,000, how you doing, Joni? When all of these $150,000 a year software people hit the bricks, it's going to be very hard for them to get another job. You say, well, they could go into AI or something like that. AI doesn't need them. Corporations aren't going to need them. Application people aren't going to need them. All you're going to have to do is give a prompt into your computer, have your own custom tailored setup for your company. It's a beautiful thing. But it knocks out the consumption side of the equation. Like, these are people that used to go to Vegas. These are people that bought $2, $3, $5 million homes in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. Yeah, a big loss of jobs in the place that can least afford it. Remember, prior recessions and downturns have eviscerated the lower ranks of the rank and file. The people building widgets, the people manning customer service desks, it's rarely gone up to white collar. This is like the opposite. You know, they'll still need you at Target, you know, and you're flipping pizzas or whatever. So today we had the first real chill winds blow through Wall Street. And the most sensitive, yeah, we're just razzing you, Buttercup. The most sensitive part of the investment markets is always the banking. Over in London, we had a private equity lender real estate blow up over there. And that got people thinking over here. They started looking for rats in the cabinet. And they saw Blue Owl has some little rats in the closet there. Not the big mega New York City rats, but some rats running around. And they started to total up all the of the money that's been shoveled into this AI, all the money that's been lent to these software as a service companies to expand operations, to build out data centers, to fund up very expensive AI engineers to come in. And they're starting to see that 2 and 2 is not going to equal 4. 2 and 2 is going to equal like 3 if you're lucky, and maybe 2. That's the big sea change that's occurring right now, is the recognition that there's no practical way to make money on this shit. But while we can't make money with that, meantime we're dismantling software over here, and well, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. It's quite a compelling picture. And I got to be honest, the mailbox is absolutely overflowing. Some people ask me about their specific job situation in a certain company. How in the hell do I know? You know, I've been 7 years employed as a software engineer, and I'm performing this function. Where do you see this in the future? Man, I don't know. It reminded us of what we were lecturing about, Buttercup Baby, of the Industrial Revolution. It's that large in magnitude. So what it means is everything that was hinged in society towards a higher echelon of earnings now starts to get marked down. Which means the businesses that were built on a higher echelon of earnings, the casinos, hotels, the resorts, the cruise lines, the fancy restaurants, the order-in meals. Now, I'm not an oracle, but if I see something, I say something. There's enough people out there that have financial advisors that have never even picked up the phone and talked to them and say, hey, you know, I got some concerns about this AI stuff. What do they hear? Deafening silence. So I ask people, and a lot of people will be watching this over the next couple of days. I'm the wrong person to ask about somebody's job. Yes, Elmer, we're all secure. I'm not the right person to ask about your software job because I don't even understand what the hell you're doing. I'm not going to be one of these people that bloviates. Well, in my opinion, based on what I know and having run it through AI, my best recommendation is to not take a vacation in 2020. You know, it's bullshit. Well, I'm saying plenty of people do pay for food delivery. And I don't make any judgment about that. I'm saying, but it's definitely a luxury in our world today because there's too much artificial value out there. There's too much value in the investosphere that is really almost utterly worthless right now. All these standard livings that were built on tremendous amounts of borrowed money to expand operations and build data centers, and you start to get a disturbing picture, and today that disturbing picture started to finally touch the banking sector. This guy's running around with one shoe on. But I'm saying people are inclined to write me, and you were right about gold and silver. And look, I've been predicting problems for 3 years, and still things sallied up. All right, so my timing has been way off. What did I used to say, Ronnie? 2024 will be a year to remember, and 2025 will be a year to forget. Well, here we are. We're in 2026. So I don't want anybody really making any career shit based on my opinions, because Ronnie will put out there the opinions of the creator. But the things I see falling in place, the realization of why should precious metals prices be so high, so incredibly high compared to 5 years ago. And you start to put a composite picture together of a society that could be in serious trouble in terms of appending the valuations to things, trying to figure out what something's worth anymore. Ah, this guy just took up 2 spots. How sweet. No, I guess she was just dropping him off. Well, we had 0.9% jump in consumer prices. I have another sector I'm going to be unveiling. It's looking good. It's looking great right now. And it's looking great for a really good investment, but it's a bit too early on it. It needs a little more seasoning on it. But my point is, now you can be in Silicon Valley, in Santa Clara. You can be working for, I don't know, CoreWeave, CrowdStrike, Workday, one of these companies. You had your expectations for the future up here, and now all of a sudden, right, you're down here worrying about if you're going to get the next pink slip round. So what does that do? What does that do to the housing market down there if software just guts it? I mean, can we all afford to make house payments, Uber Eats and Grubhub and all that? This is where I think the banks started to finally get swirled in today. Because some of these banks are up to their elbows throwing money and threw money at these firms, figuring they're the future, and all of a sudden, you guys going to be able to pay this shit back? And I think today was the first little bit of a hint that banks have gotten that little sniff of smoke in the air. So please, this is all just a way of saying that I don't know your job. I don't know your situation. I speak in great generalities here, and it's only an opinion, and people will tell you I've been wrong. I don't have an ego that has to be defended at the gate like barbarians here. No, if you're wrong, you're wrong. You admit it. You get more traction over time when you weave a little bit of humility into your delivery than some of these flakes. So yeah, we had a big jump today in metals markets. You have to at least put the idea in your head that our current monetary system might fall under tremendous threat here in terms of what a dollar is worth. I have talked about buying the yuan, and I got a lot of kickback. Oh shit, no, they're a mess over there. You know what they do in China? They still build shit. We don't build shit around this country relative to what we used to build. And now they get the benefit through manufacturing of introducing AI. So consequently, yes, the call on the Chinese currency has been spot on correct. It's rising. Precious metals have been rising. So I just tell people, I don't know about your job. I'm just shooting the breeze. I got a big mouth on me. My brain is always twirling 22 hours a day. But I can tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. If I see something, I'm going to say something. And Ronnie will tell you, I've been saying it loud and proud for a couple weeks now. Boy Blue said the taxes on inflating housing are just another dampener. They're another brake pedal on values. You know, people suddenly are burdened, and municipalities have built their budgets, like the city of Santa Rosa, the county of Sonoma, have built their budgets on certain expectations of home values and things. But I can tell you, as long as a year ago, I'm seeing vacancies pop up. In the hood, rentals, for sales, and they'll tell you interest rates have dropped now, but nobody's grabbing them. Because they're too worried about making the payment and too worried about, like Boy Blue said, the capital values that lead to ridiculous property taxes. And then you got to do the maintenance and all that shit. Then you got to pay your homeowner's insurance. I'd rather be in a damn tent. Yeah, we will persevere. You have to persevere. You're not allowed to just give up and throw in the towel. But I'm saying, when you think about the state of the economy today and how many people actually add real value to the economy right now, that actually do something that really, really matters. It's a situation where, you know, it's very easy to see the bubble pop. And all these, Ronnie, remember I talked about 2 weeks ago, people were poo-pooing me about, oh, this AI is going to make a fortune, and these software companies are going to be great. Nice to see you, GTV. Nice to see you. Well, I try to matter because I have some heart. I got people in here that are tremendous people that I've known for years on here. And I'm not one of these people that can party on a yacht while everybody else is clinging to a freaking driftwood trying to survive. So yeah, I take the heat. I take a lot of heat sometimes. I get some mail. But let's just say 2 weeks ago, the picture really fell into place. And now it's being verified every single day out there. I think Buttercup said it was like when the computer age came. It was the next iteration beyond adding machines and national cash registers, NCR. I used to work one at Sears in the mid-1970s. I remember having a business that I founded, operated, and sold. Industrial supply business. I remember having an Apple IIe. And I remember that computer bum, 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 would be writing that floppy disk. Bum, 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 bum. What fell into place 2 weeks ago was the fact that AI, and you better go watch those videos I put up for the last 2 weeks, GTV, starting with the first one. I'm going to put them into a playlist series. But what fell into place a couple weeks ago, let me let this bus move on. They're letting these kids off. Yeah, you're not a dumb person, Buttercup baby. You're pretty damn smart. And you've been a very good friend of the channel, too. We'll let this bus clear off. Everybody's gone to the light rail here. What fell into place? How you doing, Shemay? What fell into place 2 weeks ago, you ask? What fell into place 2 weeks ago was an age-old adage that you can't have your cake and eat it too. On the one hand, you can't welcome AI into your world, think it's a great investment opportunity, pursue that at the same time that you're looking at software as a service, the Adobes, the Microsofts, the Accentures, the CrowdStrikes, the Salesforce, the Workday. You can't look at two sides of these and say both of these are gonna make money. Tell me how logical that is, that you have something here that attacks processes and can fine tune it to your organization versus somebody that comes in and sells you off the rack clothing all the time. So this is now, software is now continuously under attack. From this is just beating the hell out of it. How much value is in that? Well, it was, I don't know what it is, $50 trillion. $50 trillion. T. On the other side, people assume, well, shit, if they're losing money, if they're not going to be profitable over here, they're going to be shrink. Then obviously this side's going to be the winner. It's going to be the Muhammad Ali. It's not equivalent, folks. A little bit of this goes a tremendously long way to wiping out that. And at the end of the day, when you're just left with AI, it's so cheap and so ubiquitous and so everywhere that it's valueless. It has no value at that point because it's, you know, how much is your Google browser worth? Well, it's part of my, you know, it's my installed software. Yeah. Hello? So although this hit me 2 weeks ago, although everybody's talking about this attack from AI on the software, and these things are falling apart over here. They're punch drunk. Some of these are already down 40%, Accentures and CrowdStrikes and CoreWeave and even Microsoft. But the assumption is these guys will make the money. And the tragedy is that trillions of dollars are being thrown into this boxing glove here, that at the end of the day is utterly valueless. So what does that mean? You have a double-headed wipeout. And who does that double-headed wipeout take down? Banks, real estate, private equity. All those firms that were not foresighted enough to slow down and really think about the AI thing. Half of them are trying to protect the castle that's under attack over here, software. The other half are so busy throwing money at AI that they're not realizing that AI is the ultimate democratization of process. Free. You can't ask people to pay for it if you're giving it away. So every day I look for little signs and they're popping up. Banks. Oh, this is weird. A place over in London blew up. A private equity firm. We got Blue Owl blowing up here. All these private equity companies, Blackstone, all these private equity, you should love this because Blackstone, you guys hate Blackstone because they put your apartment rents up like crazy, right? They came in like pigs and put up, bought properties and did all this shit. But they also threw a lot of money into the AI bucket. Now, when you look at them, you're like, it's like you're watching a rerun of Margin Call, the movie. When the great Jeremy Irons looks out that window after Mr. Sullivan told him, well, right now the music hasn't stopped. I get the big bucks I'm paid the big bucks to figure out what the music is going to be in 6 months. And right now, I don't hear a thing. Yeah, Blackstone would be people, there's a lot of people that will celebrate with great joy. The people with the pitchforks and the tar torches, they'll be very happy. You know, it's like Frankenstein's monsters. Oh, it's reeling its last, getting ready to fall off the side of the castle wall or whatever, and they're cheering. I'm not sure what that means, so how does it predict stocks? I'm not sure. Yeah, Robert Carradine. We also lost Neil Sedaka, too. I mean, if you cannot be a specialist here. Unfortunately, our society is filled with people with specialized knowledge. There's very few people that take the 30,000-foot view. They'd say, wait a minute, we got two trains on the same track moving towards each other. So on the one hand, you have a massive destruction of investor value here, and you have a massive destruction of banker plus private equity money that's thrown in over here into AI. And they both meanwhile, you got Anthropic today They're holding a line. They're not going to cooperate with the Defense Department, and they want to bring this company public. And people are going to pour money into that baby. But they already shot themselves in the head. They could have been contractually made hundreds of millions of dollars. They stand on principle. Okay, it's going to be costly, though. It's going to be costly. Because once you worm your way, dark side of the wall, once you worm your way into the government coffers, it's kind of easy to stay there. Well, you're going to have massive money printing. What's the alternative? We can't say Bitcoin's been the alternative. That thing is, it's when there's zero interest in something, the natural direction is going to be down. When's the last time? I'm probably the only person you've heard talk about Bitcoin regularly over the last month or two. Just to remind people, there's really no there. So, what's the senator from Massachusetts, the female? She's on like the House Banking Committee or something like that. You got to use your brain. You can't use somebody else's program to make your way through the world. This is the beauty of philosophy. Warren, Senator Warren. She might not be everybody's cup of tea, but she sees the Bitcoin thing coming. And she saw how tangled the executive branch is about how great Bitcoin and meme coins and all this kind of shit. And she said, you know what? This shit goes south. Don't come to us talking about a bailout. Whew. Can you believe those words came out? Bailout. The $2 trillion of value. Well, shit, you got $50 trillion of value in software here. Forget about Bitcoin. It's like small change. In some ways, she's smart. In some ways, she's very economically illiterate. But, she, I think, tries to represent her people's interest to the best of her ability. And I don't ever disrespect anybody that's serving in a public capacity. I've never disrespected any of the presidents. I like to think people go to work to try to do the best that they can. It's like it's perfectly analogous to the browser wars, AOL, Netscape, Napster, Yahoo. It goes on and on and on. They thought that they had something great in the beginning, and they ended up just having a handful of sawdust. That's it. So I'll just say, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And you can certainly understand why the ripple effects are starting to move through the economy now. That you're probably not going to have any kind of meaningful rebound in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is heavily dependent on locals that are retired there that have fat retirement portfolios and stuff. They haven't sold, they haven't liquidated them because the taxes tie their hands, and that's a whole nother tragedy to talk about in our world today. But yeah, I kind of think that it's inevitable that it's going to be a hard sell going forward. And then California comes in and says we have a mansion tax now, which basically killed the upper end of the real estate markets. Never been to Vegas, don't care, it's cool. The problem with gambling, though, Crow, is that gambling is a net negative for society. What positive thing that, well, we're going to put the money into education. How's that working out? No, it went into salaries. Yeah, what you did for a career, availed you a nice Rancho. I worked in banking and then 22 years in clinical medicine. Pushing paper, inglorious job. But I've always been a keen observer of people and their habits and their thinking. And I've always followed markets slavishly. That's why I'm hatching the next new ideas coming up. And if you want to know what that is, you'll definitely want to make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for all notifications coming up. Because it's starting to come good. Yeah, gambling is not, there's a reason why society had a prohibition on gambling for centuries. You know, the inability of human nature to control itself and the destruction of families and paychecks and alcoholism and drugs, and it's just, yeah, well, I've given plenty of thoughts on crypto, Aaron. I would suggest just scroll back about 15 minutes or so. Cryptocurrency is a Ponzi scheme that is now run out of players. Crypto always depends for its value on the next person that willingly enters and puts their money into the arena. When interest dries up, which it has, then Bitcoin, crypto can follow their own weight. Is gambling losses still a tax? Only to the extent of winnings or something. I think you can only deduct like $2,000 a year or something like that. Just like options losses, stock losses, and all that kind of stuff. But the point is, what does gambling do for a society? Nothing. It's well, you'll have the union guys. It's going to give nice union jobs. There'll be a lot of employees that'll be in there. They'll be making a living. I've been hearing about the blockchain for 2 years. To be honest with you, Boy Blue, nobody cares about the blockchain anymore. You know, what people care about is the value of their crypto, their XRP. or Bitcoin, and they don't like what they're seeing. It's like the interest is down, and to have an investment be a good investment, it has to continuously gain more interest. You can see precious metals is doing that now because of the producer price index came out today. Everybody rushed into the gold and silver like they were on fire today. Gambling is a negative. You got to be able to think a little bit. You got to be able to visualize the precarious situation that we're in right now with an all-out assault on Microsoft, Amazon, CrowdStrike, CoreWeave, Salesforce, Accenture, Adobe. It's no longer a zero-sum game. Well, what's lost over here will be made up over here on the AI side. No, it won't. But there'll be a shitload of money that's lost in this thing. Mark my words and mark them well. It'll be a terrific amount of loss. Yeah, thank you very much, Judy. I appreciate that. You have a Q&A video up today. Thank you, Judy. Buying 12 packs for $2.50 now, 11. Exactly. Now I'm picturing the guys from the Grey Poupon commercials. I don't know, Crow. I've begged people to tell me where my analysis is wrong. Now they could say, well, some roll-off will be a little slower than others, but what will the trend be? That's the real issue. I've used AI myself. Sometimes I like it, sometimes it's just really shitty. But you know what? Early computers were really shitty too. To the point that in 1972 or whatever, when I'm sitting there at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute High School, the premier engineering high school in Maryland, and then we have the very first digital mainframe computer at our school. And they're telling me I've got to sit down and do punch cards to do 2 + 2. I got to have a stack of cards like that thick. I'm sitting at a key punch. And right there and then I decided there's no future at all in this computer shit. If this is what it looks like, it sucks. Look at how they improved it. Look at how it improved. So as bad as AI is, it'll never be as bad as it is right now. It'll only be better and better and better. I try to do thumbnails once in a while and they just make just gibberish out of it. And then I thought, shit, maybe it's my Balmer accent. Maybe I ain't speaking clearly. I got that Balmer accent in there. How you doing, hon? Free labor, yeah. You look at our future now, you look at Social Security, you look at the dearth, the fewer young people, young adults, teenagers in the world today. You know, it doesn't bode well for universities and places like that. What's going on, bro?
Are you looking for like an office? Or
Yeah, you can't. You have to pay it by mail.
do you know who gives this?
Yeah, the parking people.
But it says 3 hours there.
I think that's the box you pay on is number 3 over here. I think that's
Oh.
what that means. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't see that little
Yeah.
thingy. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Yeah, this city's terrible doing that, you know?
Jesus.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
All right. I wonder if AI is watching. Well, AI is watching everything we do. Everything we do is building a profile to try to tailor more and more to what I want. If I'm on YouTube, I like to watch a lot of documentaries. I like to watch historical, I like to hear audio books, and little by little it just tailors things in metal detecting, vintage audio. Just on my prompts it's doing that kind of stuff. 82 degrees. AI is observing everything. But how do you make money on it? Yeah, parking lot attendant. Hell, they'll always need, well, I don't know, anybody, they'll need some schlubs to go around and, you know, I'd be perfect for that, Buttercup baby. Low stress, low to no stress. So I've come on here, I've challenged people to, and I'm getting less people are being challenging now because they're noticing what the markets are doing. The smart people flee first. Like Salesforce comes out, our earnings are great, we're going to do a $50 billion buyback. It gets the suckers thinking, oh, everything's good. The next day it pops 6-7%. Oh, man. And then a couple days later, it's business as usual. Here goes the selling again. In other words, these people lie, cheat, and finagle. One of these things years ago were only saw in sci-fi movies, yeah. Yeah, like Soylent Green. Hey, Alan, you know, Dr. Frankenstein and I, hey, Mystery, we've been missing you. Dr. Frankenstein, I'm on Rosie Murphy too, Mystery. Dr. Frankenstein and I have been joking a lot about Soylent Green, and you'll have nothing in the future and you'll like it. I guess the philosophical question is, what do you do with the society that has built its standard of living on the expectation that knowledge will always have, knowledge and process will always have value? When computing reaches hyper speed and there's really no more, everything's in milliseconds now instead of minutes, it's hard to suck additional value out of it. The only thing it can do is get cheaper, the race to the bottom. So there's one leg. And then the other leg is the tremendous amount of money that's been borrowed across. I was watching something yesterday, the mayor of St. Louis had a city council meeting or something. And the police commissioner, the police came and presented their budget request for the next year, and she's like, It's like you guys are asking for $67 million more dollars. Do you know if we provide you with that $67 million additional, we're going to have to cut other programs and workers? This is happening all over the country. Education departments, city, county, municipal finances, state finances. How you doing, Tara? Guys, there's no way it can be paid back unless it's printed money. To which Dr. Frankenstein would probably take the next logical step and say, I forgot. Seems over at Rosie, you seem overly focused on creators instead of overall productivity. Yeah, but overall productivity gains results in loss of jobs. You can't factor material costs down anymore. You can't factor land costs down anymore. You have the human element. But that human element is also a consumer. And what you're not factoring is the destruction of the consumption end of the model. How you doing, Amanda? Sand has been in the fridge 4 days. All right, enjoy. In other words, software can't win against AI. You can only go into an office. Let's say you're Accenture Corporation. You have thousands of people that are well-paid consultants that go into companies and tell them, first thing they hear when they walk through the door in their quarterly meeting is, "Ooh, the vice president is there. Maybe the CEO is there." And the first question they're going to ask is, what is efficiency? Is bad if it wipes out a purchasing and consumption paradigm. It's terrible. It's like a nuclear blast. It's like a neutron bomb. But the first thing they do when that Accenture consulting team comes in, they say, guys, we're thinking about this AI stuff. And Accenture's like, well, so are we. We're working at the speed of light to incorporate AI into the new tools that we're bringing you to run your enterprise. Now, some measure of people are going to say, that's why we have Accenture. Some people are going to say, well, what you can do, Accenture, we can do in-house with just agentic AI. We're not going to need you. There goes their whole boom, 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 their core of well-paid, McKinsey, Accenture. Well, that's what I'm saying. Who's going to be buying? Who's going to go to Vegas? Who's going to go on the cruise ships? Who's going to buy the vacation condos in Scottsdale, Arizona? And I hate to say, when people see the final ravagement of their investment portfolios, they're going to feel like they've been made paupers. And a lot of them will say, the system did this to me. These capitalist pigs did this to me. That's going to be a hard day. But no, technology did that. Oh. Yeah, we're glad Buttercup Baby's back in the fold. We asked about her many times. Efficiency money to buy your product. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've been so focused on how great it's going to be for the corporate side. This is the awareness that I'm fighting to bring to the whole software AI debacle at the current time. Is you're killing consumers here. There's nothing we can do about it, but just recognize, you know, Anthropic will have 3 people working there at the end of it all. One to keep the computer plugged in, the other one is to just sit there and have security, and the other guy to be the chairman. Yeah, it's prophetic stuff, and it does not make me happy, but I'll say one thing. I'm not going to be one of these people. Once again, you see something, you say something. And I wanted the record to be crystal clear, and I've gradually started to tie together precious metals, foreign currencies. All this stuff is coming together that I've talked about to give a tremendous composite picture. And it hasn't been upset yet. Because I think Dr. Frankenstein, who's really, thank you very much, Brett. Dr. Frankenstein, who's been with me every step of the way here, sees that at the end of the day, what is it all about? It's all about printing money. How are they going to do to AI repairmen? Well, it's not a question of how are they going to do AI repairmen. There'll be repairmen. The question is, will you be able to will you be able to fix your crap? Much less buy new crap. The first chill winds blew through the banking sector today. Be advised. They're always the canary in the coal mine. Not the companies themselves, but the organizations that lent the money to the companies. And if you don't think Jamie Dimon knows what cooks, there's a reason J.P. Morgan in history has always stayed above the rabble of the latest great idea. Yeah. How you doing, Naomi? Please hit the thumbs up button, guys. We got 70 people. No, efficiency is not inherently bad. Bloomberg had a thing today that Lord John Maynard Keynes, who came up with the Keynesian economic theory of stimulate an economy with government spending when times are shitty and then raise taxes when they're good, theorized 100 years ago that productivity would reach a point where people would only have to work 15 hours a week. Interesting. But think of all the people that have been channeled down out of colleges and universities with computer science degrees that are going to be walking into interviews, if they get interviews, and they're going to hear, well, we got AI systems now, and we'll keep your resume on file. Thanks for stopping by. That's what I'm saying. They don't, GTB. They don't, because the value of the 15-hour work week is not there. I mean, Starbucks proves that. Starbucks was on strike for 3 months, and when the strike began at Thanksgiving, they made a big ballyhoo, news everywhere, and when the strike collapsed on February 24th, you didn't hear a peep. In other words, that's a signal that we can't raise the value of work. So more likely, they just don't have a job. Yeah, you'll be picking fruit. Yeah, you'll love being out in the field. That's a big part of what my future thrust is all about, Alan Gentry, my next great investment ideas. Yeah, commercial vacancy rate. Why do you think the big commercial brokers have been getting slammed in the market? The Jones Lang Wootens, CRMB. You're gonna pancake the need for office space. You don't need it. It'll be future Section 8. It'll just be future Soviet-style housing. Hey, how you doing in his service? Long time no see. So I started today's discussion before many of you came because I get a lot of mail every day when people start to ask me about their particular situation. And I don't want those kind of letters because I don't know your situation. You know, because I'm disturbed by what you're saying. Initially, a week or so ago, the idea repelled me, like, who are you? But now when I stop and think things through, I'm not sure if you're correct or not. But let's just say I've come a great distance from disbelief to questioning. And then I respond, well, then I've done my job then of at least getting you to think. But as far as your particular situation goes, I don't know the parameters of your life and things. Yeah, 30,000 a year taxes. God almighty. What do you got to do to get that? Do you think somebody from software is going to come over and grab that? Over at Apple, they're crapping their pants right now. They're literally crapping themselves. Hey, how you doing, Scottish? I guess the real tragedy in my mind is that most people will end up going down with the ship anyway. So it's just like the Titanic. What percentage were saved on the Titanic? A very small percentage of people. It's nice to see you in his service. So obviously the world is going to be changing a lot. I think it'll be more visible as we go through the spring here. I don't know. Like I said, I could be dead wrong. Some people might see it as a win-win all around. I don't see AI that way. I've seen the power of the wizard. I have pulled back this curtain. No, that's why I'm not being excessively negative. But I have to follow things to a natural conclusion. And the unfortunate thing, Boy Blue, is that every step of the way, I've been validated by market action. Precious metals. And now software, now hardware. The people that are selling picks and shovels, they finally started to feel the first chill winds. It'll be bad, but you know, there's nothing you can do about it. It's like gathering a group of people. When Pericles lost a big battle and he had all his troops lined up at the sea because he lost all of his ships and shit in a bad storm. He got everybody take out whips and begin whipping the sea. Yeah, you can only adjust and be nimble, exactly. But at least you're thinking. At least we are thinking. What a beautiful day. 82 degrees. They said Vegas had the warmest winter in history. I don't know what that bodes for summer. But they also came out and said today that most of the rental properties in the Las Vegas metropolitan area are offering reduced rental prices or rental incentives now. We always figured that that would be the most sensitive market to the new world. And meanwhile, the gambling wind goes down. How you doing, Aquarius? Hey, Judith, I got a video coming out Sunday on metal detecting. You tell me, babe. You're going to be happy AF. Yes, rent is way too high relative to the actual purchasing power that people have. You understand people are running on a paper engine right now? They've been so conditioned over the course of this bull market to look at their investment portfolios fattening every month, and they've adjusted their lives accordingly. And people retiring now, they're rubbing their hands with glee. This is going to be a great retirement. I hope so. What's going on, Carrie Class? How you doing? So where does the great money on nothing new? I'm spending money on nothing new. I think it's going to be obviously apparent in a matter of just within the next 30 to 90 days. I think enough people have started, like I did, to start examining the other side of the AI equation, the consumption side of it. And the deleterious effect that AI has on consumption, because at the end of the day, at Anthropic's headquarters, running Claude, they only need 3 people, right? We don't need a whole dedicated building for our company and 30 floors of enterprise software that we're paying a fortune every year for seat licenses. We don't need it anymore. Well, you know what? We don't need you either. The general public never figures anything out until it actually hits them right between the eyes personally. Layoff. Can you believe those bastards at Google laid off my son? 12 years he slaved, nights working, weekends. And they gave him a measly 3-month severance package. Or what the hell happened to my portfolio? Isn't this technology supposed to be, I even bought NVIDIA. Why is it under attack now? Because the smartest people in the room know that it's time to pack up the picks and shovels store and move on. I would recommend it if you've not seen my video series that started last week of AI. It could probably be some of the most rewarding time that you will spend in front of a screen. Get involved, understand what's going on, alert people. Because unfortunately, as we all know, in investment markets, Dr. Frankenstein, when it goes lightning quick. You tell me what the other opportunities will be and how they get purchased. What's up, Tommy? Tomato pickers can't sustain Silicon Valley housing prices or San Francisco. You take San Francisco back to 1932. When people like John Steinbeck were writing novels about how shitty life was. Yes, prices will have to go down, but your ability to consume will also be impaired accordingly. It's like my grandfather once said, who, managed to get through the Great Depression and raise a family. And I said to him, wow, shit was so cheap by 1932, 33. Holy crap. Real estate, everything. Man, why weren't you taking your money and going out there and investing? He said, who in the hell had money? That's why the price is what it is. Right. No, it's not the end of the world, but it could be the end of your world here. I think the world has many, many more rotations in it, not only around its axis, but around the solar system. But I have seen the future. I have been, even you, Boy Blue, were much more skeptical a month and a half ago when I started talking about this shit. Now you're starting to think that you're starting to see the markets, you're starting to put it together, and you're starting to say, you tell me where the emergent value is, and I know where it is. It's in an area that you would least expect it to be in. I'm not ready to unveil my thinking on it yet, but it's in an area where you would least expect it. Well, that's what I say, Carrie Class. If a former software person gets a job as a janitor, even that'll be an accomplishment due to the phase out of the need for janitors in office buildings and things. Tomato. We got more on the I don't see anything pushing up on the other side in the markets now. And we had the efficiency gain idea, like, oh, it's going to be great for, Coca-Cola Corporation and all these, well, that's starting to crest over now. They're like, maybe this won't be so great for our consumer. Maybe we're not going to be able to charge $3.49 for a 20-ounce soda at the 7-Eleven anymore. Well, they got plenty of workers now. You got people dropping from Silicon Valley software to AI startups, which will be very short-lived, of course, or Starbucks baristas are schlepping food around. Everybody's becoming a food delivery person. Well, you have a lot of nurses that were attracted by salary now. Far different from the 1930s. Teachers and nurses were more of an avocation. Boy, that music's shitty. You'll have a society that has to return to a more traditional existence. I love nurses, but well, that's what I'm saying. It became attractive just for the money that you could make in nursing. That's a far cry from 30 years ago. "50 years ago when my sister first got into nursing. At the University of Pioneering University of Maryland shock trauma protocols. Hey, Kelly. I'll tell you one thing, if you think that the government's going to have money to lavish on Medicaid and Medicare in the future, I would suggest doing everything you could do now. You'll be entering the era of the plug kickers. Oh, I don't know, I guess one of the cleaning staff accidentally kicked out the plug. Well, you can watch me on the runway at 10:50 tomorrow, United Airlines, hon. On runway 120. Hey, let your light shine. My point is, society won't willingly endure the declining standard of living. It'll be there'll be a lot of pissed off people that have been supported by an unnatural economy for a lot of years. Yeah, oh well, the plug went in. What could I do? Well, didn't you get it on video? Well, they dropped the surveillance system. They didn't want to put the money in it anymore. Yeah, well, look at the report on the news about the education of the dropouts in the Baltimore City school system. You can see that today. It's unprecedented. These are going to be people with a lot of time on their hands and a lot of ill intent. Ooh. Young people, you can already see the story shaping up. Those baby boomer bastards, those Gen Xers, they suck this juice out of this lemon. Look at them live the high life. Now look at us. No, I have a direct flight, babe. Coast to coast. In a glorious 787 Dreamliner. The pride of the fleet, the Cadillac of the skies. I'm not schlubbing along on a discount airline tomorrow. They don't even get it. Swim it. That's everything. Remember, every pool used to have a lifeguard. Now it's swim at your own risk. It's a self-serve world. Go save yourself. Go to Target. Try to find somebody to help you. Go F yourself. Go to Home Depot and try to find somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about in the electrical department. Good luck. Yeah, that's a very well run route there. I'm not connecting crap, man. I'm not going to be stepping foot in O'Hare or Midway. I'm going the whole enchilada, baby. I will be many time zones from you, Naomi. By time 8:30 tomorrow evening, East Coast time, I will be hopefully sipping a beer or two, maybe a shot. Glorious. Yeah, we had to fill in the pool. We just couldn't afford to run it anymore. Frank thought we should turn it into a vegetable garden. Yeah, well, there you go, Boy Blue. That's one reason, Boy Blue, I come in here, not so much to go negative, but to encourage people to counter it. And I just don't hear, yeah, in other words, I want to hear the other side of the story. I'm like the guy in Margin Call. I stand there looking at the window at all these data centers that are being slapped up, and Mr. Sullivan, I don't hear a thing. I see people ripping out copper. No, it's not a vacation. It's gone to celebrate my my grandson, his birthday. Even though it's in April, they're having a party, a Korean style party for him. And I have a chance to see my daughter, who's going to be dropping another kid in April. So it's the two birds with one stone theory. And Carrie Class is like, we'll always have cucumbers. Make sure to hit the thumbs up, guys. We're so deficient in thumbs up tonight. If you've enjoyed the discussion, even if you haven't, it's worth exposing your mind. Who says it? The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. You come in here with a skull full of mush, and you leave thinking like a lawyer. Another baby on the way, yeah. So I would encourage people to catch up on the videos. Do 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 do. You can just use shudder to imagine the future of New York City, LA, Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit, Philadelphia. When those gangs of young ruffians, like hordes, exchange students in the best school become the worst and vice versa. And carry class will always have cucumbers. We should have a meetup at Cucumber. Wow, you will pay? Yeah, they're pretty much there. You're always watch your Board of Educations first. They're always the canary in the coal mine for cities. When the dropout rate starts to sky high like it is in Baltimore right now. We finally reached a point in this nation where each generation is progressively less educated now than the ones before it. Think about that. You could sneak cucumber into a 5-star and people would rave about it as long as they didn't. Well, it's food is food, in my opinion. A lot of 4-star stuff is preparation, presentation. The Board of Education. Well, all the money that was supposed to fund education just went flowing into the bloatware staff and everything. But you don't hear a thing in this nation about. You hear a little thing here and there, but what you don't hear is a national alarm bell ringing. We heard that alarm bell ring when Sputnik was launched in October of 1957, the first satellite. Now it's like the CEO, the chairman, looking out the window and margin call the movie. He's like, I don't hear a thing. Yeah, people just buckled in, hoping that they can just go long enough to get their pension, and it's somebody else's problem. You know, Carrie Clares, there's only 12 laws of physics. Only 12. And not one of them is newer than 100 years old. There's nothing new under the sun. Think about that. 12 laws of physics, and not one of them is younger than 100 years old. Only 12. And yet you'll have people that think science is advancing, and science has turned into advocacy now. You have to live a certain amount of time on this earth. you know, Judy's about my age, Alan Gentry. We've seen the changes since the 1950s. We've lived it. We see what's been gained and what's been lost. I guess that's why it hits us most acutely. Nothing can travel in light except Rosie being chased by thug deer. That's it. That's one of the first things I'm going to do when I get back is go crabbing. Those weirdo deer, thug deer that travel in groups, they're all in the bushes. They just see red eyes there. It's disconcerting. You hear all the scratching in the bushes. You notice I haven't gone over at nighttime this year? I don't do nature. I'm asphalt, chain link, cement. I can't do nature. It's too bit discombobulating to me. Bell is ringing bell. Trying not to panic. Notice it all. Yeah, that's it, Patty. I don't know how old you are, but you're at a certain age and you can see things very clearly. And you know society's changed when the number of people concerned about education just evaporates and it just becomes, it's their problem. It almost becomes a F them mentality. Yeah, my desktop is 2005 myself. That's amazing. My Dell. So what I say, guys, is computing is great until it's not. Then it becomes a golem, as they say in Yiddish, a golem, a monster. Yeah, because we've just had too much phony wealth created. It doesn't have any connection to reality right now. The price-earnings ratios of some of these software companies are so freaking high. There's no value there's no bargains anymore. And yet people just blindly keep shoveling it in. Shit bets. Thank you very much, Huey. I appreciate it. This was given by Lonesome Dove up in Minneapolis 5 years ago. I love it. I get more compliments on this hoodie. Yeah, well, you know why the car is that price, because there's so much fake money out there. Fake purchasing power, paper purchasing power. Just like in 1929, the average slobs were suffering in the economy, but the headlines were made with the banksters and the Wall Street gangsters. So they had that idea that it was wealthy. Ben has onions from Brother Washington. You can just grow for our own. ATV, yeah, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. It's been a very stimulating discussion. I always tell people, you better share this stuff out. I don't care if they subscribe or not, but they better hear some of this stuff. Okay, somebody else got a ticket, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, moderators always encourage people to like up this stream. It's not going to be a long one. I got to get up very early tomorrow, but we still got time. Yeah, little shit box is 50,000. You notice these days you don't see any beater cars around. That tells you how phony money is. I grew up, all you saw people driving used secondhand beater cars and shit. Closest I saw was the Billy the Hillbilly and his crew. A nation that inflates its currency artificially ends up paying the highest price. So, you know, you might not be able to afford the groceries, but the slobs that are actually making stuff will be able to. All we made was knowledge ideas, that's it. And that just ain't gonna cut it. Dr. Frankenstein said you have to live by the sweat of your brow. Alan Gentry. Thank you, Alan, by the way, for the video you sent me on 5. There's no surprise in those 5 SUVs. Appreciate that. Young people don't. They rush out when they get their first paycheck and become wage slaves. And a lot of them are really, truly just hobosexuals. I'm only on my 3rd car in 46 years of driving. Hail to the hobosexuals. On the plus side, baseball season's starting to gear up. 80 degrees. Woo! Well, I finally got the title for the Nissan truck in the mail. I don't know what the hell it means, but I guess I'll try to get it changed over. Yeah, homosexuality is very it's very underappreciated. It was a concept I introduced here that seems to have taken root in some minds. How you doing, Angus Kisses? In other words, I want your sex, but I have nothing to offer for it. And you should be glad. Man, let's see where. Rolling piece of junk. Oh, he said some of those Land Rovers, you should just drive them from the dealer's lot to the junkyard. Toyota's starting to have some problems. They're getting a disease. I'd be more apt to stick to Honda or Subaru. I did. I got and I watched the video. That's what I'm thanking you about, Alan Gentry. I was pressing for something. Now all of a sudden I got the title for the Nissan. Well, the beauty is I can't afford a British-made vehicle anyway. Even Brits make fun of British-made car. Yeah, they used to have a good one, the Anglia, but that was made by Ford, the Vauxhall. British Ford. I'm planning to take part in a virtual conference for facials, so I'm excited too. My doctor. Oh, that's good. I hope they're able to do something for you. Myofascial pain. I complain like a little pussy when I have a little crick in my neck. I can't imagine. I hope you get relief, babe. I'm thinking about either well, I don't think I need it now. I'll drive that truck down to the nuts. I already put a lot of money into it. The Forester's very good. That's what the boss and Janet have. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's mine. I can never use those words, but I got a title. I think Nissan Boy is going to retire and stay in Taiwan. Yeah, it's been in limbo. I haven't driven it since it would have had it a month. I took him to the bus depot where I'm going tomorrow to catch the bus to the airport. I haven't driven the thing since. I don't know what the hell to do with it. How you doing, Callie Mo? If they catch you out there on the road, they go look it up. Shit, this thing hasn't been registered for 5 years. Are you kidding me? You got to clear these. No, we're going to have to tow it. I'm sorry. 1 year, we give you a warning. 2 years, I try to look the other way. Oh, shit. Get the truck out of here. You son of a bitch. Yeah, that's going to sit in the tow yard, $125 a day till it clears by the DMV. You know what? I'll just let it sit in there. Send it out to the Copart. Sayonara, baby. I just didn't register during the pandemic and never got caught out. 5 years. That's the name of that tune. Damn these cords. Do 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 do. I remember I tried to get a Spitfire gone one summer for some friends. Had frozen pistons. There was no way to break them free. Wasn't any breaking them free. No siree, Bob. think I remember, was she a YouTuber? Are you talking about a musical group? I sent you the link to the Stumbling In by Susie Quattro and Tom Norman. Our love is alive, and so it begins. The cards are on the table. I figured that would be right up your alley. That was such a signature song. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you can know I'm always following you. Stumbling in. The cards are on the table. Stumbling in. Oh shit, Screamer in the Hood. Oh, Baby Come Back, of course. Baby come back. Any kind of fool could see I was wrong. And everything about you, baby come back. Any kind of fool could see there was something, everything about you. Yeah, that was a big song. But it can never replace my Thelma Houston. Any kind of fool could be. How you doing, Jenny? Aloha. Everything about you, baby come back. Any kind of dope could see there was something. The 4-point maneuver. That's it, brother. 2:31 p.m. local Honolulu time. Do 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 do. Oh no. Hey Eddie. That's the definition of a bummer right there. That, my friends, is a bummer. Thank you, Luis. I got things all taken care of. Our love is alive, and so it begins. Do 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 do. Do do do. Stumbling in. Woo! Frisky cats. Whatever you do. Where's that slob tiger? Oh, there is he over there. There's that slob. No, we're talking about Tiger, not not Simba. It's a little too early for feeding. No, there were a couple. There's one down. That nasty Rosie. What an ironic twist of fate that the worst one has my name. The things just get worster and worster. Stumbling in. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you'll always know my every thought is following you. Oh boy. Stumbling in, baby. This is the KPFA Evening News with Dennis Bernstein. Oh, I gotta open some windows. Simba is a survivor. Immigrants. I'm so damn tired of hearing immigrants.
So I think that the lesson really is that it takes community. And so, yeah, you can dismantle the Board of Education. You could dismantle HSI designations. You could dismantle the grants. But guess what? The genuine education has always happened in families. It's always happened in community. And so I think we can, this is a reminder that we can't depend on the very government and institutions that continue oppressing us to also be part of the solution for us. We have to find that in our own grassroots ways in our communities. Going back to Cultura, reconnecting with nonprofit organizations and knowing that teaching and learning doesn't always come from a textbook or within a classroom. That lived experiences, our abuelitas, our tios and tias, right, have so much knowledge that just because it's not codified by a U.S. institution with degrees doesn't mean that it's not valid education. And so I think that's the shift for me, is under realizing the limitation of these systems. We're also products of, right, and that we're not going to have liberation within U.S. settler institutions, whether they're education, schooling ones, or government. And so how do you web that into your classroom, to your curriculum, to your assignments, to the reading, and then how do you put it in practice by connecting your students with community, with providing opportunities of joy and resistance and advocacy, right? Understanding the
Just constant, this din of immigrants. I'm so tired of hearing this bullshit. What about the people that actually live here legally? What's going on, Reggie? Holy shit.
Freedom of speech and freedom of expression and really understanding that, knowing what college policies are regarding that, right? California code, right? The U.S. Constitution on public speaking. So I think all of that is part of.
This is the end of our peanuts.
Right now,
sad to say.
And particularly in California, truth be told, many of us would not be working if we were in states like Florida.
Well, Professor, we're going to count on you to come back again and again and again, because your voice is so powerful in the context of what's happening now in the culture and the society. And as a teacher and professor and a counselor, you play an integral role in the.
I mean, I love everybody. Not the way I would have done things, but man, I get tired of it.
Miguel and I thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being with us. Hope you'll come back soon.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, you too. And good luck on further travels and activism. We appreciate it. You're listening to Flashpoint on Pacifica Radio. Dennis Bernstein with Miguel Gavilan Molina. Short break. Some of you are going to hear a chunk of yesterday's show, special programming today, and others will stay with Gavilan and I. Please stay with us and stay tuned.
How Hey, I believe take care of everybody. Like I said, not the way I would have done it, but it does get tiresome. Costco has, here's what happened at Costco. I go look for peanuts, they have unsalted peanuts, Hampton Farms, which I like. I don't want any unsalted peanut. I tell the manager on the way out, I said, you don't have salted peanuts, it's always unsalted. I said, can you get some salted? She said, we got to fill out the form over there by the door. I said, forget about it.
We're going to be doing some live broadcasting soon. There's some important stories that we need to tell. Gavilan, right now, the story that we need to tell is that we have a goal, and we must make this goal to keep doing the work we do here at People's Radio. Thank you.
Unsalted peanuts. I said you couldn't even serve these things at a baseball game.
With the iconic creator.
I said you might as well chew on your socks.
The most important cross-cultural theater in this country, father and son, and it's important that we keep this voice alive and that we bring these voices to the people from the communities that are under attack. That we heard from Richard that he's afraid for his own children, picking up his all parents, everybody who is in any way looks different than sort of white America is in danger. Los Angeles now is a very dangerous place. Well, the phone number is 1-800-439-5732. Last hour, Davey was offering an amazing gift, Freedom Frequency Series, Black Resistance Pack, 2 books. There were so many things, including Nelson Mandela. Gavilan, you remember when Nelson Mandela came to the Bay Area? KPFA Pacifica Radio was a part of that. That's the extraordinary work that we do here. So, 1-800-439-5732, Gavilan. What's the word?
Well, the word is...
The word is the bird.
Make sure that this network, one of the last of its kind,
Sam's,
because the rest of the networks across this country, Community Public Radio, has been bought up by this corporate, Christian-based organization. And at this point, this is one of the last remaining. And it's here. We have survived. We survived the Nixon era. We survived the Bush era. And this station has survived one administration.
I make sure to get my news sources from both sides, in my opinion.
Democrats that they're positive. Remember,
I truly am a middle of the roader.
Build the concentration camps on the border. It was Bill Clinton that started Operation Gatekeeper, that forced people into the most blistering desert on this side of the
No,
world.
Gabriel, because I'm going away tomorrow for about a week.
When you look at that, look what Biden did. Kamala Harris, of immigrant parents, goes down to the border in Guatemala and Mexico and tells people, don't come. Stay where you're at, don't come. Really? So we're here, and we've always been here at this station and on this program, defending free speech, defending democracy. And we've done that, we've marched, we've protested, we're out there. We're not just producers and anchors and hosts on the radio. We're out there as advocates. We're out there, as activists participating in the marches, marching.
What you do is you get rice flour.
And protest. We're out there on ground zero. And we will continue to do that because right now,
Mochico rice flour.
Massive crisis. And what's happening to the immigrant refugee community,
Thank you, doctor.
But it's their way of militarizing the...
I don't have many peanuts.
Now,
I think I've had them before, Jenny.
but also the military. When
I
say
can't
they,
remember if I
I'm
liked them or
talking about
not.
The supremacists. Because what we have here is democracy that has been trampled. We have to resurrect it because white supremacy has taken over the White House. And we have a madman. And what do we have to do here? This radio station, the beacon of hope, is we have to survive the beast. 1-800-439-5732. Your pledge, your donation is resistance. Because this station, it's about, rapid response radio. It's about resistance radio. It's about people-powered radio.
Yeah, I think so,
And
Reggie.
you are the ones. 1-800-439-5732.
Gavilan, I am worried.
Thank you, Emmy Lou. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry to interrupt.
I'm just sorry
you know
more
how much I
people
love
don't
the
know
work
about
that
it,
you
but
do
that's
together.
more people are
Right
interested
now,
in drama
we've got
and all that
zero
kind of
people
stuff, and that's understandable.
This is Friday. We've been doing okay.
I got a
this
very
week,
good
but we're gonna
price.
need people to rise up right now. Speak out for free speech radio. Now, we're going to have this march coming up, the Snow Kings March. And what I'm hoping, I'm trying to get 100 Flashpoints listeners to just send us $25 and get yourself a special KPFA whistle so that you can blow the whistle.
Rice flour is
when
so
ice
fine
comes
it
into the
absorbs
streets.
everything.
We're trying to get 100 whistlers with these KPFA whistles. It is $25.
Or you can get KPA
a shot.
whistle.
For $100, get 4 whistles. Give them to friends. Give them to your kids. Give them out on the street. But come on, it's a beautiful way to celebrate KPFA and free speech radio. Speaking truth to power with a whistle. 1-800-439-5732. 1-800
Blow that whistle.
5732, or you can come at us kpfa.org, hit that donate button.
This
and
is the
join us
voice
there.
of Berkeley.
And we would love it if you could come up with a matching fund, a challenge fund. Maybe you have a little extra and you can give a little extra. By the way, it's wonderful. It really helps us if you give by the month. Maybe you want to subscribe for $5 a month or $10 a month.
No, I'm going to
Maybe
Newark.
you can afford $25 or $50 a month. So you can come
And then
to
I'm
us
flying home
that
out
way,
of
but please,
Dulles.
Come to us now. Get this whistle and join us in the streets when it's necessary to blow the whistle for free speech. 1-800.
It's like power to the people. It's about as useful as that.
5732. 1-800-439-5732. We've got our first wonderful caller, number 2.
It's
Where
like
are
power
you?
to the
Will
people.
You stand up when
What
make a
power?
difference
What
when
people?
It really counts. Do you believe that this radio? I know you believe that this radio station is an alternative, is a transformational creation. It is a. What is this? It's a marvelous invisible university in the airwaves. That's right. We celebrate information. We listen to writers and poets and journalists and visionaries and artists. We listen and we grow. We hear them talking about
We live in
their
a very
work and
delusional
their
world.
experience. We hear revolutionaries, people who are engaged in resistance, fighting fascism abroad now, fighting fascism at home. 1-800-439-5732. One person call. We need 10 of you. And frankly, it would be great if those of you who do have a little extra to come up with a match. We could use 500.
Come on, Carrie Class, why don't you give a
beautifully.
challenge match out there.
1-800-439-5732. It is Friday. It is the end
That's
of the
Dennis
week.
Bernstein.
The fund drive is a little bit behind, but we can make a difference now if you stand up, step forward, and throw your fists in the air for free speech radio. Come on, folks. Where are you?
Berkeley,
Are you
he's
in
delusional.
Berkeley, San Francisco? Are you in Oakland? Up north, down south? Are you in Los Angeles? Are you in Seattle? 1-800-439-5732. Come on. What is going on here?
Unsalted
I
peanuts
feel very
suck.
lonely in this
I can't
studio,
believe
everyone,
Costco wouldn't
with those
carry
phones
salted
sort of
peanuts.
Silent. We need to.
And they didn't seem to care too much about it.
Beautiful uprisings for free speech radio. Join Anonymous in Fairfax, who stepped forward for free speech radio. 1-800-439-5732. Get the whistle, or get that really incredible Freedom Frequency series, Black Resistance, pack 2 books, and
Corky's
about
usually
nothing,
takes the
it's
weekend
about
off.
A lot of extraordinary information that you can get, but what you really get is you're stepping forward. You're really taking an action that
man.
nobody makes you take, but that your mind.
Corky's got bigger
and your heart
fish
and
to
every
fry
cell
on
of
the
your body
weekend.
Tells you it's the right thing. It's the
More of that
intelligent
dog
thing to do.
present.
Now, when they're closing down the voices of public radio, when they're shutting down free speech, when we have an administration.
Well, it just doesn't make sense to me. It seems to me you could sell a lot more salted peanuts, Carrie Class, than you can sell unsalted.
Help us go into the weekend feeling like
Yeah, about
we did
5
our
hours
job.
or so.
Just stand up and step forward. For
5.5
free speech radio. I want
hours.
not only one of
I've
you,
downloaded
I want
a couple
5 of
things
you.
to watch.
I want 10 of you to do it right now. The number 1-800-439-5732. It's not working yet. 1-800-439-5732. KPFA.org.
This is Berkeley, man. This is KPFA. This is the Pacifica Network.
You can get a hoodie. You can get
This is the
all
last
various,
vestige of real
intellectual,
radical radio in
gifts,
America.
informational packs, and
Yeah, they might know what they're doing, but they're not
absolutely
serving me,
endless.
Carrie Class.
I've been given permission by KPFA to do something that I've been wanting to do. And, well, Gabilan, are you there with us?
Carrie.
Yes, I am, Dennis.
Yeah, I just wanted to, first
You
of
have
all,
no heart.
you know this, but I just
Long
wanted to
time
share-
listener, first time
we talk
caller,
a lot
you're on
about
the air.
fear, and about
Hello, your
how
head's on the
you're
moon.
trying
Thank
to
you.
scare us. Now, as you know, I've had 2 very suspicious break-ins to my car. You know, the kind where they smash up everything. And
Yeah,
don't
you
do
live in
anything.
Berkeley.
It feels like a message. I don't know.
I
don't
do.
know if
Don't
it's
say
actually gonna
GD,
work,
Carrie Class.
or
Don't blaspheme
just,
on here.
People who are desperate, and there are many, many desperate people on the
As
street.
a Jew, you
whatever.
ought to know
I
that.
mean, it is, in fact, the reason.
It's
why this
terrible.
radio
Rice
station is
cake.
important,
It's,
because we
Art
represent
Bell,
probably
east of the
people
Mississippi.
Who are desperate enough to break into a car.
Don't you get this,
and
Jenny?
get $50
KPFA,
just
the
so
voice
people
of
be able to feed
Berkeley.
a kid. These are those kinds of times, aren't they, Miguel? You've lived through these times. By the way, we have 2
Absolutely,
beautiful
yes.
people. Let me just let people know you have
This car's been broken into twice.
1-800-439-5732. If you want to bolster our support, if you want to stand with us, let us keep doing the work. I'm so sorry for interrupting, Gabilan. Please.
Well, no, not at all. And the thing is, this is time to rise, folks. You know, I'm always on alert. You know, I'm U.S. born, but I've been detained 3 different times. And when I'm out there, I'm concerned. People ask me, aren't you afraid? Well, I'm not. Because I know in my heart, in my spirit, you know, that I am walking the path of light and bringing truth to power. And you know, myself, my siblings, my parents, and others, we have survived this kind of naked racism. You know, and recently we saw the Supreme Court giving, green light, to brown profiling. Well, that's the Supreme Court. You know, they okayed racism. You know, we've heard people say,
They okayed those tariffs, too.
Elon Musk's crew, was bragging. Oh, hey, I used to be.
I didn't hear any
when it
applause
wasn't
for
cool.
that.
Well, that's reality. There's a sacred
Yeah, I like to do
perspective that is
interpretive
taken
sign
Just
language.
spoofs this kind of ugly racism. But we here, we tell the other story. We tell the story of community, of race.
You bring that story. The amazing thing, Gabilan, I think the thing that
You
I
can
love
listen
about
to this
place
at your
most is that
phone or
people such
computer,
as yourself
KPFA.
bring such extraordinary
Pacifica
experience
Radio
that
Network
speaks
since
to the history
1949.
that we report on.
The
Now,
voice
I
of
interrupt.
Berkeley, People's
We have,
Park, People's
about
Power.
8 minutes to
Yeah,
go.
freestyle
We
sign
have 2
language.
people on the line. We really do have a goal of $3,000, and we made it last night. We're a little bit behind here, but we can make a difference. Is there somebody who has a little extra?
He's speaking
right
to
now,
your heart,
who
Gary
believes in
Class.
the work that we do, who wants to lock arms with those folks who bring you Free Speech Radio, who want to make sure that this marvelous, scrappy institution, this University of the Airwaves, remains strong. We are the canary in the coal mine of corporate disinformation. That's right, we're the canary in the coal mine of corporate disinformation. We speak truth to power. We counteract the big lie that comes through you endlessly through these half-truth networks. We are in the trenches. We bring the microphones to the folks who are doing the most suffering, and we give them a place to tell their story. We are a storytelling network. We speak truth to power with our stories. How about,
Penny's gone.
Can I get 10 of you who have heard the poetry of Anita Barrows, who has written a poem every single day of this genocide in Gaza, and that we have covered it? Can I get 10 of you who have been moved by that poetry to stand up for just $10 or $15? And yeah,
Pennies are gone.
Extra, give a little extra. This is a great time. This very second would be a wonderful time to give us a match fund for $500 or for $1,000 and help us move it right along the way. 1-800.
So there's no more Penny in Canada, huh?
KPFA.org. Hit the donate button, and we can give you hundreds of books. We can.
I want Dr. Frankenstein to speak truth for power.
We need you to stand with us, lock arms with the truth. 1-800-439-5732.
I'm going to be leaving 82-degree weather here and gone into the freezer.
Now 7 minutes. We have 7 minutes to go. We have $135 in.
Please hit the thumbs up, guys. We're still way behind tonight. It's going to be a short one. I'm going to be closing it down in a couple minutes because I've got to get packed. I'm going to the East Coast. You should check out my daily videos, Gabriel. You'll be all caught up on what's going on.
I know what that's like.
I am, Kelly. I'm flying into New Jersey, even
I
better.
rarely have been. And, for those of you that are, we'll march. We'll deal with the violence. We'll confront the power, the corruption. We'll get beanbag, we'll get gas, we'll get pepper spray, but it doesn't matter, knowing that you have.
I got plenty of videos coming up.
At this point, it looks dire.
Thank you.
Out there in the
Anyway, guys,
universe,
I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I'm sure I'll be live sometime over there. In the meantime, I've got lots of videos that'll be coming up.
All these different,
Thank you very much to my moderators. I'll check in where I can, probably with a shorty or something, but I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you, especially my moderators. Thank you so much, everybody.
Please write that down. 1-800